It was a quiet fall morning in the Dallas suburbs. Kids waited at bus stops. Lawns were still wet from sprinklers. Everything felt normal, but something was off. Officer Linda Rayburn, 34-year-old mom of two, had just finished her overnight patrol shift. She texted her husband one simple line, grabbing something from the corner store. Be home soon. She never came home. No crash. No call for help. No witnesses. It was like she'd vanished into thin air. Police swarmed the area. Drones flew overhead. Dogs searched fields. But Linda's patrol car? Gone. Her phone? Dead. Her radio? Silent. Nothing. Days turned into weeks, then months, then years. Some believed she ran. Others whispered about foul play. But with no evidence, no body, no car, there was nothing to prove either way. For a decade, her family woke up every day wondering, what happened that morning? And then on a brutally hot afternoon in July 2021, a neighbor went out to fish in the lake behind their home. He cast his line, but something strange floated up, something he couldn't explain. It shimmered under the surface. At first, it looked like metal. Then he saw it, a badge, still pinned to what looked like a uniform, and behind it, something far bigger. It was early morning, just before sunrise. Officer Linda Rayburn, 34 years old, had just finished her night shift. She was tired, but in a good mood. She had two kids waiting at home and a husband who always made her coffee when she got back. Before heading home, Linda stopped at a small gas station. The security camera inside shows her walking in. She grabs a drink and a snack. She chats with the cashier for a few seconds. Even laughs at something he says. That's the last time anyone ever sees her alive. At 6:12 a.m., she walks out the door. Her patrol car is parked just outside. She opens the door, gets in, and drives off. But she never makes it home. That footage would later become the most important clue in her case. It showed nothing strange. No one followed her. No one was waiting. Just Linda, doing something she did every week. Everything looked normal. And that's what made it so terrifying. Because just minutes after that video, Linda Rayburn disappeared off the face of the earth. At home, her husband Jim wakes up around 7:30 a.m. He yawns, gets out of bed, and starts making coffee, just like always. Linda usually walks in around 7:45. She's tired, but smiling. She takes her coffee and kisses the kids before they leave for school. But today, she doesn't walk in. By 8 o'clock, he's checking his phone. 8:15, he sends her a text. Everything okay? No response. By 8:30, he's calling her. Straight to voicemail. At first, Jim thinks maybe she stopped to help someone. That's part of the job. But by 9 o'clock, he starts calling her coworkers. None of them have seen her. She signed off duty after 6 a.m., like usual. By 10 o'clock, Jim is pacing the living room. The coffee's cold. Her toothbrush is still in the bathroom. Her bed hasn't been touched. He knows something is wrong. By 11:45, Jim picks up the phone, dials 911, and says 8 words that change everything. My wife is a cop, and she's missing. The moment the dispatcher hears who it is, they move fast. Within 1 hour, 2 squad cars arrive at Linda's home. More are sent to the gas station she was last seen at. They pull the security footage. It confirms what Jim said. Linda walked out at 6:12 a.m. alone. By afternoon, Linda's name is on every police radio in Dallas. Search teams are formed. A bolo, be on the lookout, is sent out to all nearby cities. Officers are told to look for a marked patrol car and a missing female officer in uniform. The case is treated with urgency. Linda isn't just a missing person. She's one of their own. Helicopters are requested. Road patrols double. And all hands are on deck. But there's a problem. There's no trail. No known direction. And her phone? It's already dead. The last confirmed moment anyone saw Linda alive was that gas station door swinging shut. And after that, nothing. The search for Officer Linda Rayburn explodes within hours. Helicopters sweep highways and side roads. Search dogs sniff through parks, parking lots, and ditches. Officers check every route she could have taken home. Still nothing. No sign of a crash. No skid marks. No broken branches or fences. It's like her car just vanished. And it's not a regular car. It's a marked police cruiser. Lights on top. Big decals. You can't miss it. But somehow, it's gone. Volunteers join in. Neighbors walk fields and wooded areas. Divers are called in for nearby creeks and retention ponds. Even drones are launched overhead to scan hard-to-reach places. They find old tires, trash, a rusted-out bicycle. But no car. And no Linda. People start whispering. Could she have run away? Did she leave on purpose? But Jim shakes his head. She wouldn't do that. She loves our kids. She was planning a vacation. She was coming home. And yet, the roads were empty. The house was silent. And Linda Rayburn was nowhere to be found. The longer Linda stays missing, the louder the whispers get. Some officers start wondering out loud, what if she left on purpose? They don't say it on camera, but in the break room, the questions come fast. She just signed off and vanished? No radio call? No struggle? That's weird, right? Rumors begin to spread fast. Was Linda under pressure at work? Was she unhappy? At home? Had she been hiding something? Some even ask, did she fake it? Her captain publicly denies it. He says Linda was preparing for a promotion. She was doing well, focused, no red flags. But not everyone is convinced. And soon, local news picks up the same angle. They run headlines asking, cop missing or cop in hiding? Jim is furious. He knows his wife. She didn't leave. She wouldn't abandon their kids. Not like this. But no one can prove anything. And without a single clue, suspicion becomes its own kind of truth. Inside the Rayburn house, time has stopped. The kids still expect her to walk through the door. Her son, just 8 years old, sits on the porch every evening, waiting for her car to pull up. One night, he asked Jim, is Mom playing hide and seek? Jim breaks down. His daughter, barely 6, draws pictures of her mom in a police uniform, holding hands with their family. She tapes them to the front door in case her mom comes back and forgets what house is ours. They keep her room untouched. Her toothbrush, her badge, her folded uniform still in the closet. Birthdays come and go. So do holidays. There's always a plate left for Linda, but she never comes. And slowly, something in the house changes. The kids grow quieter. The walls feel heavier. It doesn't feel like a home anymore. It feels like a place where someone vanished. About a week after Linda disappears, a tech officer spots something in the digital records. Her phone, though now dead, had sent out a final signal just after 6:20 a.m. The morning she vanished. It pinged off a cell tower near a small lake in the suburbs, not far from the gas station. Police rush to the area. Officers walk the edge of the lake. They shine flashlights into the water. A few even wade in. They search the roads nearby, thinking maybe she crashed and rolled into a ditch. They find tire marks, but they're old. They find an empty soda can, also nothing. Divers are suggested. But someone in command says the water's too shallow to hide a whole car. So the team leaves. The lake goes quiet again, and so does the investigation. Weeks turn into months. Every lead dries up. Tips keep coming in. Someone thinks they saw her. Someone heard she went out of state. A psychic claims she's in the woods. All of it leads nowhere. Linda's photo still hangs in the police station. But after a while, it gets moved down. Not removed, just lower on the board. detectives are pulled to other cases. The search teams stop coming. No more helicopters. No more dogs. Jim still leaves the porch light on, but inside, he knows. People stop asking questions. The news moves on. And slowly, Linda Rayburn goes from missing officer to cold case. The woman who vanished in uniform becomes another file in a box. Another story no one knows how to end. 2 weeks after Linda vanishes, people start talking. At first, it's just quiet whispers, neighbors wondering if maybe, just maybe, the husband had something to do with it. Some say he seemed too calm. Others say he was acting weird at the vigil. One woman tells the local news he didn't even cry in front of the cameras. Online forums light up. Strangers dig into his past. They find old photos, old arguments. One person claims they once saw him yelling at Linda in a parking lot. That post goes viral. The police say they've talked to him, that he's cooperating, but that doesn't stop the rumors. A few friends stop calling. One mom pulls her kid from a playdate at their house. He's not arrested. He's not charged, but in the court of public opinion, he's suspect number 1. Jim tries to stay quiet, but it eats him up. He knows he's innocent, but no one sees that. They only see what's missing. Linda. And when there are no answers, people start pointing fingers. One morning, Jim walks into the police station and says, "I'll do the test." He's tired of the whispers, tired of being looked at like a killer. So he agrees to a polygraph. The test takes hours. He's asked the same questions again and again. Where was he? Did he hurt Linda? Did he help her leave? He says no. Every time. The results come back. He passes. Detectives say he's telling the truth. But outside that room, it doesn't matter. People still think he knows more than he's saying. Some think he beat the test. Others think he planned it too well. Reporters show up outside his house. They knock on doors, asking about his marriage. He starts sleeping on the couch with the curtains shut. The polygraph cleared him, but the doubt doesn't leave. At night, the house feels like it's holding its breath. Linda's son won't leave his room. He stares at the ceiling for hours. When Jim checks on him, he pretends to sleep, but his eyes are open. The younger daughter talks less now. She clings to an old stuffed animal and whispers, "Is Mom still hiding?" Jim doesn't know how to answer. He tries to keep things normal. He makes their favorite meals. He puts cartoons on, but nothing works. At school, the boy gets in trouble for punching another kid. The girl draws sad faces on all her art projects. When it rains, the daughter runs to the window and says, "Maybe that means Mommy is coming home." The school counselor calls. She says the kids aren't speaking much. They keep asking about police cars and lakes. No one sleeps through the night anymore. It's like the whole house is frozen in the same question. Where did Mom go? Linda's closet is untouched. Her uniforms are still hanging, neatly pressed. Her work boots are still by the door. Her name tag is still clipped to the jacket she wore that night. Jim can't bring himself to move anything. Every month, he pays her car insurance, even though the car is still missing. He keeps her toothbrush by the sink. He won't let the kids throw away her shampoo. Sometimes he sprays her perfume in the bedroom just to remember what she smelled like. People tell him it's time to pack her things. He does and single quotes T. Because deep down, he thinks she might still come home. And if she does, he wants everything to be exactly the same. Exactly how she left it. 10 months after Linda disappeared, the phone rings. A man on the line claims he killed her. He gives details, says she begged for her life. Police race to trace the call. It's fake. He made it up. Just wanted attention. A few weeks later, a woman in Oklahoma tells a reporter she's 100% sure she saw Linda pumping gas. She even describes her uniform. The family's hearts leap. Maybe she's alive. Maybe she ran and changed her mind. Police pulled the station's footage. It's not her. Another dead end. Over the next year, there are more calls, more tips, more people claiming they know something. Every single one falls apart. Each one gives the family hope, then crushes it. It's like being stabbed over and over again with false promises and cruel lies. Jim stops answering unknown numbers. The kids stop asking when mom will walk through the door. And slowly, even hope becomes dangerous. 2 years pass. Jim can't take it anymore. He hires a retired Dallas detective named Ray Marino. Ray worked homicide for 30 years. Now he spends his days with maps, storm drain blueprints, and topographic charts spread across Linda's kitchen table. He doesn't believe she ran. He thinks she's close, just hidden. Ray goes back to day one. He looks at where Linda was last seen. He pulls weather reports. He studies terrain between her route and home. Then he finds something. A small lake just 5 miles from the gas station. No guardrails. A sharp turn. Hidden from the road. It was never searched by divers. Back in 2011. It was 12 feet higher due to rain. Ray thinks if her car went in that lake, it would have sunk deep, hidden under mud. Missed by sonar. He brings it to the police. They listen but say there's no evidence. Ray doesn't stop. He drives out there alone, sits on the bank, watches the water. He says, "She's in there. I can feel it." As Ray keeps digging, the official search winds down. 10 years have passed. The city has moved on, but Linda's case is still open. Technically, search teams had already combed every field and every ditch. They dragged rivers, flew drones, used scent dogs. They checked old wells, abandoned barns, even storm drains near the freeway, but still nothing. Her name fades from the news. New cases come in, new headlines, but the pain stays fresh in her home. The kids are older now, teenagers, but they don't go far from home. They don't trust the world outside. To them, Dallas feels like a trap. Their mom vanished in daylight, on a paved road, wearing a badge. If it could happen to her, it could happen to anyone. Ray tells Jim he's not giving up. They start a Facebook group. A billboard goes up on the highway. Where is Officer Linda? But no new tips come in. It's like she disappeared. Into the air. Or into the water. 5 years. That's how long it's been since Officer Linda Ramirez vanished. No new leads. No new evidence. Just silence. The police file sits cold, pages worn from being flipped too many times. Her photo still hangs in the station. But even some officers have stopped believing she'll be found. The public? They've moved on. Mostly. Except for the online forums. There, strangers trade theories. Some are thoughtful. Most are wild. Some say she was kidnapped. Others say she planned it all. Maybe she had enemies, one post says. Maybe someone followed her. Another one claims her husband knows more than he's saying. Jim sees the comments. He doesn't respond, but each one stings. The truth is, nobody knows what happened. And when there are no answers, people make up their own. The case becomes a story, a guessing game. But for her family, it's not a story. It's their life, their pain. Still fresh. Still open. And still waiting for the truth. In year 6, rumors explode. One blogger claims Linda had a second phone, a burner. Used to talk to someone in secret. Another post says she was having an affair with someone inside the department. Then someone else claims she had a drug problem. None of it is proven. But that doesn't matter online. Screenshots spread. People share her old photos with captions like, "She was hiding something." Her daughter sees it all. She doesn't understand. At school, a classmate whispers, "Did your mom run away with someone?" She cries in the bathroom. The police check the claims. They find nothing. No second phone. No strange text messages. number, secret bank accounts. Still, the rumors keep coming. Each one makes Linda sound less like a person and more like a scandal. Jim tries to block it all out. He tells his kids, "Your mom was good. Don't let strangers decide who she was." But the doubt, once planted, grows quietly in the background. Then, one day, a photo shows up online. It's a grainy image from a street camera near the Texas-Mexico border. A woman, mid-30s, wearing jeans and a backpack. She looks just like Linda. Same dark hair, same build, same way of walking. The internet explodes. Linda's alive. The posts say she crossed the border and started over. Even the news picks it up. The family sees the photo. Their hearts race. Police are called. A small team travels south to investigate. They visit the gas station, pull the footage, interview workers. They find the woman. It's not Linda. Her name is Carla Ruiz. She's from El Paso. Never even heard of Linda Ramirez. The family is crushed. Again. Jim says nothing to reporters. Just walks to his car and sits in silence. That photo gave them hope for 2 whole days. And then took it away in seconds. Just like all the other false alarms. In year 7, a new face appears. His name is Marcus Dean, a retired detective from Fort Worth. He spent 28 years in homicide and now works cold cases for free. He hears about Linda's story from a podcast. Then he contacts the family. Jim agrees to meet him. Marcus doesn't promise answers, just effort. He asks for everything: Linda's phone records, police files, even traffic camera data from that morning. He spends weeks going through it. Then he calls Jim. "I don't think she left the area," Marcus says. He points to the timeline. Linda was seen at 6:41 a.m. at the gas station. Her phone stopped pinging at 6:48. Just 7 minutes later? There's not enough time for her to get far. No airports. No bus stations. She didn't run. Marcus believes she crashed. Somewhere. Nearby. Somewhere no one looked hard enough. He circles a 5-mile radius on the map and says, "If she's out there, we'll find her." Jim nods. It's the first real hope he's had in years. Detective Marcus Dean stays focused. He takes his 5-mile search zone and marks every water source: creeks, ponds, ditches, retention basins. Then he finds it. A small, quiet lake behind a neighborhood just off Route 9. Only one narrow dirt road leads to it. To him, it's perfect. A missed turn. A tired driver. A car slides in quietly. Sinks. Gone. He brings the idea to the department. They listen. Then shake their heads. That lake was cleared in 2011, one officer says. Search team used drones. Nothing was there. Marcus asks for dive reports. Sonar scans. Photos. They have none. Just a short log entry that says, "Checked lake." Nothing visible. That's it. Marcus pushes again. No divers? No sonar? The reply is the same. Already searched. The department moves on, but Marcus can't shake the feeling. Something's still sitting at the bottom of that lake. 3 weeks later, something strange happens. Jim gets a message on Facebook. It's from a woman in Oklahoma. She says she's a psychic. Her message is short. "I had a dream. Linda is underwater, near trees. I saw silence and something metal." Jim deletes it. He doesn't believe in this stuff. But the next day, the woman messages again. She says the place feels familiar to her, like it's close to home. Jim sighs. Then freezes. Close to home. Trees. Still water. He calls his daughter. Now in high school. He asks her, "Do you remember the lake behind the old house?" She does. It was small, quiet. People used to fish there. Linda would jog near it on off days. Jim's voice breaks, because that's the same lake Marcus flagged, and the same lake the police claimed was cleared. He tells Marcus about the message. Marcus isn't superstitious, but he's seen stranger things solve cases. I don't care if it came from a dream, he says. It lines up. That's enough. They call the department again, but this time, they come prepared. Marcus and the family bring maps, satellite photos, and a timeline. They show how Linda's phone last pinged near that same lake. They explain how the psychic's vision matched its exact location without ever knowing it existed. Still, the police resist. We cleared it with drones, they repeat. Marcus pushes harder. Did anyone go in? Did anyone get wet? Silence. The officer admits no divers were sent, just one drone with a weak thermal camera. It flew over the surface for 10 minutes. That was it. No sonar. No dive team. No close-up search. The lake wasn't cleared. It was glanced at. Now, Marcus makes it official. He submits a formal request to reopen the search. The department hesitates. Then relents on one condition. If we go back and find nothing, the case stays closed. Jim agrees, but Marcus leans in and says one thing. Bring a diver this time. 3 days later, they do. The diver goes in slowly, tethered to a rope. Visibility is low, but within minutes, he surfaces and shouts one word. Metal. It's July 2021. A normal, quiet morning. In a small suburb of Dallas, a man named Travis steps out into his backyard. He's lived here for years. Behind his fence is a small lake. Calm. Still. No boats. No noise. It's been hot lately, weeks without rain. The lake water is lower than usual. Some of the tree roots near the shore are showing. Travis grabs his fishing rod and walks down the path. He's done this 100 times. It's peaceful out here. The neighborhood is quiet. Kids are at school. Lawnmowers hum in the distance. He finds his usual spot and casts his line. He waits. Nothing bites. That's normal too. He casts again. Toward the middle, still nothing. Then his line jerks. He thinks it's a big fish. He grins, grips the rod tighter, and pulls hard. But whatever's down there, it's not moving. Travis frowns. The line is stuck. Not just caught locked in place. He pulls again. Harder. It doesn't budge. Sometimes, old branches or rocks hide under the water, especially when the lake's this low. He gives it one more big tug. Suddenly, something shifts. A large, dark shape bobs up from below, maybe 10 feet from the surface. It's covered in brown muck and tangled weeds. Travis steps back. Whatever it is, it's not a log. He reels the line slowly. The object rises a bit more. Then he sees metal, rusted, smooth, like part of a car. The sunlight catches something shiny. A corner, maybe a bumper? Travis's chest tightens. He drops his rod and crouches at the edge of the water, trying to get a better look. That's when he sees it. A broken piece of glass. A shape that looks like a headlight. It's not junk. It's something buried. He stares at it for a second, frozen, then turns and runs back to his house. Back inside, Travis grabs his phone and rushes to the kitchen window. He zooms in on the water through his phone camera. The metal is still bobbing. He sees a few letters, and then part of a Texas license plate. The last 3 characters, 6X9. He gasped. It's real. He scrolls to Google. Searches missing car, Dallas. Lake. A news article pops up. Officer Linda Ramirez. Vanished 2011. Still missing. Driving a patrol car. The article shows the license number. Travis reads it twice. 6-9. He sits down, shaking. This isn't junk. This is a police car. A missing police car. He dials 911. Double quotes. Hi, I think I found a vehicle in the lake behind my house. There's a license plate. It might belong to someone who disappeared. The dispatcher goes quiet, then says, "We're sending someone now. Stay where you are." Travis hangs up, sets the phone down, and stares out the window. He already knows something terrible is under that water. Police cars arrive fast. So does a small crowd. This time, the officers don't bring flashlights or drones. They bring divers. Three of them gear up at the edge of the lake. One ties a rope to his vest. Another checks oxygen levels. The third carries a small underwater camera. Travis stands nearby, arms crossed. He doesn't say much. The lake is murky, almost black beneath the surface. One diver slips in. Then another. It takes minutes. Not hours. The divers go quiet. Then radio in. We've hit something. Back on shore, the lead officer turns pale. The divers surface. One holds up a muddy object, flat, square, with the faint outline of a badge. They've found a car. It's upside down, buried in the silt. They shine a light through the window. Inside, bones, tangled in a seatbelt. A cracked radio. A police hat, half-dash floating. And next to the driver's seat, something small and faded. A wallet. With an ID card inside. Officer Linda Ramirez. She was there the whole time. 10 years. Just below the surface. Police tape surrounds the lake. The dive team ropes off the area. A crane pulls the car from the water. Mud pours out the windows as it rises. The patrol car is upside down. The roof is crushed. The glass is shattered. But it's still intact enough to be identified. It's the exact make and model. Linda Ramirez was driving. As water spills from the doors. Officers carefully open one. Inside is what no one wanted to see, but what everyone feared. A skeleton in the driver's seat, still buckled in, still upright. Her uniform is mostly gone, shredded by time and mud. But her gun belt is still there, sitting on her hip. An old flashlight, a rusted set of handcuffs, a radio, long dead, and then a wallet. It's soaked, falling apart. But inside is a photo. It's water damaged, faded, but still clear enough to make out. It's Linda. Smiling. Someone whispers, "She never left." Investigators lower their heads. After 10 years, the missing officer had been less than 100 feet from her own backyard. Beneath the surface, she had waited all this time. What shocks everyone the most is how close she was. The lake wasn't that deep, maybe 5 or 6 feet at its center. The car had flipped and sunk beneath layers of silt, almost invisible. In 2011, the original search team used sonar and helicopters. They looked through the woods, checked traffic cameras, knocked on doors, but no divers ever searched this far out in the lake. Why? Because in 2011, the lake was higher. The drought hadn't hit yet. The water was 10 feet deeper. From above, the lake looked clean, flat, quiet. No one imagined a car could be hiding below. And back then, no one thought she'd crash on her way home. She was trained, experienced, careful, but now seeing her car buried upside down, it's clear something went terribly wrong. Maybe she swerved. Maybe she chased someone and lost control. Maybe her brakes failed. Or maybe someone forced her off the road. Right now, nobody knows for sure. But what they do know, she was never missing. She was just never found. Until now. 10 years later. In the same uniform, still holding her bags. The news hits Dallas like a wave. By the next morning, it's everywhere. TV, radio, social media. Missing officer found in suburban lake. 10 years later, a break in the Ramirez case. Reporters camp outside the police station. Helicopters fly over the lake. Neighbors bring flowers to Travis's house, the man who made the discovery. But the most emotional moment comes just after noon. Linda's family gets the official call. Her mother picks up. She doesn't speak, just listens. Then she drops the phone and falls to her knees. Her brother stares at the wall for 5 straight minutes, not crying, Not moving. Just stunned. 10 years of questions. 10 years of pain. Now. One heartbreaking answer. Later that night, they go to the lake. They're met with police officers, reporters, and dozens of locals who showed up in silence. Her mother walks to the shoreline. She doesn't say anything, just looks out at the water. And whispers, "She was here the whole time." Candles are lit. People stand shoulder to shoulder. The water is still, but the silence feels heavier than ever, like the whole city is holding its breath. The next morning, a heavy-duty crane rolls and police have taped off the entire area. Neighbors gather behind the yellow lines. No one speaks. Everyone stares at the lake. The crane's cables sink into the water. Divers attach hooks to the car. Slowly, the winch pulls. A shape rises through the mud and silt. It's the patrol car, bent, broken, and soaked in weeds. People gasp. The roof is crushed. The lights are gone. The paint is barely visible under the mud. But the words "police" can still be seen on the side. As the car creaks upward, water spills from the windows. A shoe drops out and lands with a splash. A little girl covers her eyes. Her mom holds her close. A tow truck lowers the wreck onto a flatbed. Blue tarps cover it, but no one moves. No one talks. Everyone is thinking the same thing. How was she here this whole time? And how did no one ever find her? The patrol car is taken to the forensics garage. Crime scene techs wear gloves, masks, and cameras. They open each door carefully. Inside the driver's seat is a skeleton, still buckled in. Her seatbelt had never been unlatched. It's Linda. She died still in uniform. The front end of the car is smashed in, hard, as if it hit something head-on. But the strange part? The airbags never went off. Investigators checked the dash. No signs they ever deployed. They look at the gear shift. It's in reverse. That's not normal for a crash. There's no blood, no broken glass on the inside. Just dirt, lake weeds, and years of decay. Her hands are still resting near the steering wheel. One is touching the radio. It had never been used. The other is near her belt. Her weapon is still in the holster. Safety still on. None of her gear had been touched. It looked like she died in seconds. No struggle. No time to escape. Just silence. And water. Detectives check every inch of the car. The windows are rolled up. None are broken. The tires are worn but intact. The engine is rusted. But there's no fire damage. No tampering. They find her phone. Dead. But unbroken. It's still in the center console, just where an officer would keep it. Her radio is also found, still clipped to her shoulder strap, never used. Battery long gone. Inside the trunk are her tools, traffic cones, flashlight, a small first aid kit. Everything is exactly where it should be. That's what makes it confusing. There are no signs of foul play. Nothing was stolen. Nothing ripped up. No blood. No extra fingerprints. No damage to the locks or doors. Not even a scratch on her service weapon. If someone attacked her, they didn't leave a trace. And if she crashed, why reverse? Why no airbags? Detectives say it's one of the cleanest scenes they've ever seen. Too clean. Almost like the crash never happened. But the car proves it did. The department pulls old GPS records. They retrace Linda's last known route. She had finished a night shift, was heading home. Around 5:45 a.m., the weather was calm. Roads were empty. Still dark. They find one stretch of road with a sharp curve near the lake. No guardrails. No lights. If a car missed that curve, it would slide down a small hill and straight into the water. Detectives visit the site. It's exactly where a car was found. No tire marks. No broken branches. Just grass. A slight slope and a gap between trees. They estimate she was driving 25 to 30 miles per hour. If she drifted off just a few feet, The hill would have been enough. Her car would have slid quietly into the lake, upside down. No splash big enough to hear from nearby homes. And in 2011, that part of the lake was 10 feet deeper. No one would have seen the car, not even from a boat. Linda didn't vanish. She was just never seen going under. Until now. As more details come in, the question becomes, how did they miss this? Back in 2011, right after Linda vanished, the lake was searched. But not like people assumed. Records show officers walked along the shoreline. They used flashlights. A drone flew over for 20 minutes. But that's it. No divers. No sonar. No underwater cameras. One officer at the time even said, "It's a shallow lake. If she were in there, we'd see the car." But now it's clear that was wrong. Her car was just 100 feet from where they stood. But the water was murky. The car was upside down. And over the years, it sank deeper into silt. If they'd sent divers, they might have found her in the first week. Instead, the lake was marked off as cleared. The case went cold for a decade. One small decision, no dive team, meant her family suffered for 10 more years. She was never far, but no one looked deep enough to see her. After reviewing the scene, examining the car, and reading the reports, the Dallas Police Department gives its final statement. They call it an accident, not suicide, not homicide, just a tragic, silent crash. The area had no guardrail, no streetlight. She was tired after a long shift. Investigators believe Linda may have missed the curve by inches. Her car slid down the slope and into the lake quietly. She was likely knocked unconscious on impact. The water filled the car within minutes. She never had a chance to call for help. There were no drugs in her system. No signs of a chase. No attempt to run. They say there's no reason to believe anyone else was involved. Case closed. For some, the answer feels too clean. But there's no evidence left to question it. The car tells the whole story. And sadly, that story ends in the dark waters where no one thought to look. After so many years, Linda's family finally gets an answer. But it's not the one they hoped for. Her daughter, now 22, visits the lake with her grandmother. They stand near the same spot where officers once said, "Nothing's here." Now, there's a memorial cross, flowers, a photo of Linda in uniform. Her daughter whispers, "At least we know now. At least she didn't leave us." For years, they wondered if Linda had run away, been kidnapped, maybe even hurt by someone she trusted. Those thoughts haunted them. But now, those fears are gone. She didn't abandon them. She was coming home. She just didn't make it. And though the pain is deep, there's a strange peace in finally knowing the truth. Grief still lingers. But now, it has a name, a place, and an ending. Not the one they wanted, but the one they needed. Just as the case is about to be closed for good. One final detail shows up that it happens by accident. An officer is sorting through Linda's old personnel records, just double-checking for anything left undone. That's when he sees a file marked Private Internal. He almost skips it. But curiosity wins. He opens the folder and stops. Inside is a form signed by Linda, dated 2 weeks before she disappeared. It's not part of her normal reports. It's not related to any call or arrest. This is something personal. The document was filed through Internal Affairs, but somehow it never triggered any follow-up. It just sat there. The officer walks the folder over to a sergeant. "This was never flagged," he says. "But I think someone should look at it." The sergeant reads the first few lines, and suddenly, the story of Linda's last days starts to shift. The paper is a formal complaint, typed, signed, clear. Linda had reported another officer, a man she worked with regularly. She said he hadn't hurt her physically, but he made her feel unsafe. He followed her during lunch breaks. He showed up outside her apartment once uninvited. He made comments in the patrol car she didn't feel comfortable repeating in the report. She told a supervisor weeks earlier. But nothing had changed. So she went a step further. She put it in writing. She didn't name him in public. She didn't want drama. She just wanted it to stop. The file shows she'd requested to switch shifts, to not be paired with him again. But that change never happened. Then 2 weeks later, she was gone. At the time, the complaint never made it to the top of the department. Now, in 2021, it finally does. No one had told her family. No one had asked if she'd been acting strange. But this file said a lot. When the file is shared with detectives, they go quiet. The case was ruled an accident. The physical evidence says so. But now, they have to ask a harder question. Was she okay that morning? They dig into old notes. One fellow officer remembered Linda seemed tired the week she disappeared. Another recalled she was more distracted than usual, like her mind was somewhere else. Could stress have played a role? Was she rushing to get home, or afraid to slow down? One detective writes, could she have been looking over her shoulder when she missed a turn? There's no proof of foul play, but that doesn't mean there wasn't pressure. Mental stress doesn't leave bruises. It just builds, quietly, until something gives. They can't say the harassment caused the crash, but they can't ignore it either. Suddenly, the accident feels less random. And more like the end of a bad chain of events. The man Linda reported is still on the force. When questioned, he doesn't deny they had tension, but he says, I never touched her. He claims the complaint was blown out of proportion. Investigators can't prove he did anything criminal, but several others say they noticed Linda acting differently around him. She was quieter, more closed off. One officer says, she used to laugh. Then she just stopped. It becomes clear something was weighing on her. It may not have caused the crash directly, but it affected her. That matters. The department issues a quiet review. New policies are discussed. Linda's case remains closed, but her story doesn't feel finished. Because even if no law was broken, something still broke. And now, her family has a new kind of grief, not just for her loss, but for the pain she carried that they never knew about. After the case review ends, the family is left with one question still echoing. Was she okay before she left that morning? Linda's husband can't stop thinking about it. So he does something he hasn't done in years. Goes into the garage and opens the old storage box from her closet. Inside, he finds Linda's uniform hat, a folded newspaper, and something small wrapped in a scarf. It's her journal. He never knew she kept one. It's handwritten, just a few pages, but each one says a lot. She wrote about her work, the stress, the long hours, the tension on her team. But she also wrote about her daughter, her husband, how much she loved them, how badly she wanted to be present. The final entry is just one line. No date. It says, I'm tired, but I'm fighting. Her husband reads it 3 times. And then he just sits there. Because now, it's not just a patrol car pulled from the lake. It's the truth about a woman who was trying her best until the very end. 2 weeks later, Linda's daughter gets ready for school. She's 14 now, quiet, strong, older than her age in some ways. She walks into the kitchen, wearing her regular backpack, but there's something different this time. Pinned to the front strap is Linda's badge. Her dad notices. Where do you find that? He asks. In Mom's memory box, she says. He waits for her to say more, and she does. I know she didn't leave us, the girl says softly. She got lost, but she was trying to come back. He nods, trying to keep it together. The badge gleams a little in the morning light. Later that day, at school, a teacher sees it. She says, that's a brave thing to wear. The girl just smiles. It doesn't fix everything, But it's a way to carry her mom forward, not just as a missing officer, but as a fighter, a mom, a woman who didn't give up. The house still feels empty, but for the first time in over 10 years, it also feels quiet. Not the kind of quiet that comes from grief, but the kind that comes from answers. Linda's photo is back on the living room shelf. Not as a reminder of pain, but as a symbol of strength. Her family still cries sometimes. That part never really goes away. But now, they cry for someone they finally understand. The mystery is over. The fear, the questions, the what-ifs, they've faded. Now, there's space for something else. Peace. Her daughter studies harder. Her husband finally sleeps through the night. Every now and then, a neighbor stops by with flowers or a story about Linda. They say things like, she was the one who always showed up. And now, even though she's gone, it feels like she's still doing that. Showing up. In her own way. Every single day. It's been 10 years since Linda vanished. Now, on a quiet Saturday morning, the church bells ring for her. A black hearse pulls up to the front steps. Inside the casket is Linda finally home. Hundreds of officers stand shoulder to shoulder, lining both sides of the church steps. Their uniforms are clean. Their hats are off. No one speaks. As her casket is carried through the front doors, every officer raises their hand in salute. Some knew her. Most didn't, but they all came to stand with her. Inside, the pews are full. Her family sits in the front row, her husband holding his daughter's hand. Her son sits next to them, trying to stay strong. A folded American flag is placed near the altar. The same one that once sat in her locker. The chaplain begins to speak. He says, "We honor a life of service. We mourn a loss that went unanswered for too long. But today, she comes home with dignity." And for the first time in years, the word closure feels real. She's finally laid to rest. Not as a case number, but as Officer Linda Harper. At the front of the church, Linda's son steps up to the podium. He's older now, 18, tall, quiet. He holds a paper in his hands, but it's shaking. He starts reading. "She used to wake us up for school before her shift," he says. "Even when she had no sleep. Even when she was tired." He pauses. His voice cracks. Then he lowers the paper and says, "I just wish I'd said goodbye." He steps back. Next, his little sister walks up. She's 14. She takes a breath and speaks clearly. She wasn't perfect, but she never gave up. And neither did we. People in the church wipe their eyes. She looks at the casket and whispers, "You came back, Mom. We knew you would." Then she turns to the crowd and adds one last thing. "Don't forget her, please." And no one does. Because in that moment, it's not about a mystery anymore. It's about a mother, a protector, a woman who mattered. 2 weeks after the funeral, a ceremony is held at the police station. Officers gather outside headquarters. It's not open to the public. Just the department, Linda's family, and a few close friends. Inside, a glass case is unveiled. It holds her badge. Number 4321. Cleaned, framed, retired. No one else will ever wear it again. The chief of police steps forward and says, "This badge stood for someone who served with heart. It now stands for someone we will never forget." Then, one by one, officers walk by the case and salute. Linda's daughter watches closely. It's quiet, respectful. The kind of tribute her mom would have liked. After the ceremony, the case is placed in the main hallway right beside a plaque that reads, "Officer Linda Harper, missing 2011, found 2021, never forgotten." And every rookie who walks those halls will see it. They'll learn her name. They'll hear her story. And they'll remember that badge wasn't lost. It was earned. In the weeks that follow, something unusual happens. The city takes action. First, a new metal guardrail is installed on the Lake Road right at the curve where Linda's car went in. Next, lawmakers draft a bill. It's simple but powerful. Every missing officer case must include water searches within the first 24 hours. That means sonar, divers, and no waiting. The law passes fast. Too fast, some say. But Linda's story hit a nerve. It showed that sometimes things slip through. And now, no one wants that to happen again. The bill is named in her honor. The Harper Search Protocol. At the press conference, her husband speaks briefly. He says, "We didn't get her back in time, but maybe this will help someone else's family." And then he walks off without taking questions. Because for them, it's not about the spotlight. It's about change, real change, the kind that saves lives and makes sure no one else vanishes unnoticed. After the law passed, the story spread like wildfire. News outlets across the country called it the hidden cop car case. Photos of Linda's patrol car, pulled from the lake, were everywhere. Headlines ran for days. Lost for 10 years, found beneath the water. Officer's badge recovered in Lake Mystery. On social media, it became more than just a case. People shared pictures of their own missing loved ones, brothers, sisters, parents still waiting to be found. The hashtag find them all started trending. So did hashtag Officer Linda. One woman wrote, "My cousin disappeared 5 years ago near a creek. This story gives me hope." Even officers in other states started checking water routes on old missing cases. The case had gone from a local mystery to a national movement. And somehow, through all of that noise, one voice stood out the loudest. Linda's daughter. Her words didn't just echo across town. They echoed across the country. A few weeks later, Linda's daughter sat down for a short interview with a local news station. She wore her mom's old jacket. She looked calm, but tired. The reporter asked what she would want people to know about her mother. There was a pause. Then, her daughter quietly said, "She didn't run. She didn't hide. She just didn't make it home." That one sentence, 12 words, hit like a punch to the chest. People across the country replayed it again and again. Clips from the interview spread online, racking up millions of views. Strangers commented things like, "I cried watching this. I'll never forget her face. She deserved so much better." And maybe that was the real legacy Linda left behind. Not just her badge, not just her case, but a voice. A daughter's voice that spoke for every family still waiting for answers. That it wasn't about blame. It was about truth. And the pain of not knowing. The lake was still again. Linda's car was gone. The signs were posted. The laws had changed. And finally, the town could breathe. The police department closed the file. The coroner marked it officially accidental drowning. The state archived the case as finally solved, but something still didn't feel finished. Because behind the solved case was a bigger question. How many more are out there? How many patrol cars, bicycles, baby strollers, and parents' cars are sitting silently underwater, never found? How many families are holding on to hope, not knowing that their loved one is just beneath the surface? No one could answer that. But now, they were asking. The town council approved yearly sonar checks for nearby lakes. Other cities started doing the same. A quiet shift had started, small, but real. And while the headlines faded, the impact didn't. Because Linda's case didn't just solve a mystery. It asked a question that still echoes in lakes and rivers everywhere. Who else is still down there waiting to come home?